I apologize, people. I was having technical difficulties. My equipment wasn't syncing. Okay, so I'm here now. Thank you all for tuning in once again to the to Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur TV presents More Than Meets the Third Eye. So as you're coming in, please feel free to go ahead and subscribe to the channel. If you haven't done so already, be sure to click the notification bell and click the word all so that you're notified each time that I go live. Okay? So that was crazy. All right, so this is going to be a brief live. I just wanted to address something. So earlier today, I talked about the guy who was in the mall, right? Who was sitting up there in the mall and was clearly crying like a little baby because they asked him to leave the mall. Now, I wanted to talk about that. See, here's the thing. So many of our people, now I have told you all numerous of times, and I'm sure you all know, that we're engaged in spiritual warfare. And spiritual warfare, you need to use all of the attributes of your spirituality. You need to be exercising your pineal gland, opening and using your third eye, right? You need to be harnessing your power that comes from the Most High. With that all being said, you know, it was just a sad thing to sit there and watch this grown black man sitting there crying like that, all because some white people didn't want him in the mall. Here's the thing. So many of our people, they are not only brainwashed and mentally enslaved, they have given up their power. Now, our ancestors had their power taken from them, right? Stripped from them, along with their heritage, knowledge of self, you know, their language and all of those things, their spirituality, any of those things. But today, many of our people voluntarily give up their power. Like they really feel like they are beneath the Hellman's crew. They really feel like they are at some type of spiritual disadvantage, or as if they have to beg for a seat at the table of wannabe white supremacy. Here's the thing. Our people need to realize that we are not beneath them. We are not the tail. We are the head. We are the Alpha and the Omega. We were here first and we will be here last, as I always tell you. With that all being said, it is time for all of us to start harnessing our spiritual power. All of us are gods born of the Most High. Psalm 82:6, right? The sooner we realize that collectively, the better off we will be. And we need to start practicing and engaging in our spiritual practices that the ancestors used and stop allowing the brainwashing of our captors to stop us from using the things that we normally would use, because they use these same things against us. This is how they exert and exude their power. This is how they keep us under control. Many of us are so foolish that we won't just wake up from the slumber. We have become complacent. That means we are so happy to be sitting here foolishly, going along with whatever they say, all the narratives and foolishness that they push, not asking any questions, not ever wanting to stray from the path, not accepting knowledge and information that's trying to be given to us by our other peers, but rather listening to what the devils are telling us, giving up your power. When you give up your power, you are then powerless. And if you are powerless, you will never get true liberation and freedom. You will never rise to the place that you are supposed to be. Now, you can be powerful or you can be powerless. The choice is up to you. If you want to think in a pessimistic, in a negative way, if you want to be one of those people who says, well, the white man, you know, he keeps his foot on our neck and we can never get from under it. We can never defeat them. We can never get out from under oppression. We can never get past it. If you have that mindset, then you never will. The thing is this, yes, they may have their foot on our necks, but it doesn't have to stay that way. We have all the capabilities to get out from under this oppression, but it's going to take a collective and concerted effort. All of us need to be working and harnessing our power and our spiritual intuitiveness, right? And our spirituality together in unison. That is true unity. We have to stay on code. No grown black man in 2021 should be walking around crying because the white folks told him no, he couldn't do something. And especially when he has a son that he's trying to raise. This is not the time to be docile. This is not the time to be weak. This is the time to be powerful. Because only when you are that will you achieve the greatness that you deserve, the power that is within you is what can catapult you to the top. You can't sit here and just go along with whatever they're doing and just take it and be docile and act like it's hopeless, like you have no way to get out from under it. Malcolm says, what is your recommendation for us learning how to harness our powers and to get in tune with our African spirituality? Books, YouTube videos, something else. What you need to be doing, what we all need to be doing, is we need to be practicing meditation. We need to be eating a healthy, clean diet, right? We need to be drinking plenty of water. You need a detox. You need to decalcify the pineal gland, because clearly all of these things that we've been engaging in, such as eating meats and especially pork, for those of you who eat pork, and, drinking water with fluoride and brushing your teeth with fluoride-filled toothpaste, all of these things calcify the pineal gland. Now, mind you, I'm not a doctor, at least not a medical doctor, and I'm in no way giving you medical advice. But what I'm saying is, if you really want to reach your true height of power, and you really want to get more in tune with yourself and your spirituality, these are some things that you might consider doing. You also need to get in tune with yourself, have conversations with yourself, know who you are, find out what's your life's purpose, what you are meant here to do. You're not just here for no reason. We all have a purpose, a cause, and a meaning, and you need to be trying to figure out what that is. And you need to listen to the ancestors, because they speak to us through different signs, angel numbers, right? Sometimes they bring us messages via our dreams and things like that. But what you need to stop doing is allowing your religion, for those of you who are religious, there's nothing wrong with you having a religion, but you need to stop allowing your religion to make you stay away from your true spirituality. That's what you need to stop doing. Why can't you have your religion but still have your spirituality? Why can't you still engage in the things that our ancestors engaged in, the things that can help you get to the next level of consciousness, right? These are the things that we should be doing. We cannot just sit here and feel defeated. Whatever you say is what you become. Remember, I told you, anything you say after the words I am, become true, become who you are. Whether you say you can or you can't, you're absolutely right. So someone was telling me just days ago that a relative of theirs said, we can't defeat the white man. So we can't defeat them. And by that, I'm sure they meant their system of wannabe white supremacy. But that's the thing. You can defeat it. It's just that many of us don't want to. Many of our people are complacent, and they're sitting there idly by, just trying to go along and get along and just doing what is expected of them and not straying from the path, right? Hoping that there's good intentions in the end, that they'll have a come to Jesus kumbaya moment. That's never going to happen. That's never going to happen. And remember, the road to hell is paved with good intentions. So you can sit there and wait on that all you want. You see, they keep pandering to us, giving us these symbolic gestures, nothing substantial, and we're perfectly fine with it. The same things they're doing now, they did these things all before. I told you, the devils, they always do the same things. They just put a different twist on it and call it something else so that you think they've changed. They've not changed. The same thing they did by giving us Juneteenth as a federal holiday is the exact same things they did when they made MLK Day, right? A federal holiday. It's the same exact thing. It benefits them more so than it does us anyway, when you really think about it. So I'm just tired of seeing Black people, talking down on other Black people, feeling that people trying to give them motivation, inspiration, or trying to enlighten them are some sort of crazy conspiracy theorists, or are just people who aren't really doing anything, just talking. But when the white man comes and tells them something, they'll believe whatever he says. They'll go along with whatever narrative he pushes. They're not looking at the history of our oppressors, or of our adversaries, shall I say. So at this point, I'm just sorry to say this. Actually, I'm not sorry, because I'm going to say it anyway. At the end of the day, we have our people experiencing something now that is known as willful ignorance. See, back in the day, the ancestors weren't allowed to read books. They weren't allowed to get an education. They were prevented from learning. It could cost them their lives. Now, I'm sorry, but in 2021, lack of knowledge can cost you your life. Not being educated, not reading, researching, and studying. Those things can all cost you your lives. So you have willful ignorance because you have all of the information out there before you, literally walking around daily with a computer in your back pocket or your purse, right? i.e. your cell phones. But many of our people still refuse to study and do the research. They'll listen at the lamestream media, which is the biggest propagandist machine, in my opinion. They'll listen at what the Hellman's crew tells them. But when somebody like me or some other enlightened, woke Black person tries to inform, enlighten, and educate them, they don't want to hear it. We're crazy. They'll ask us things like, what are you really doing? We're trying to harness that power. The thing is this, the power has to be harnessed collectively. All of us on code, working for the same thing, with the same ideology and the same mindsets. This is what we have to do. In the Bible, it says, when two or more are gathered in my name, there I am in the midst. That's the power right there. When two or more are gathered in my name, there I am in the midst, is what it says in the Bible. So if all of our people are gathered together, and we all have the same ideology, the same mindset, all wanting the same end result, that is power. But if we have half of us over here wanting one thing and the other half of us over here wanting something else, and we're all pulling, it's like a tug of war. Nobody's unified. And then eventually what happens in a tug of war? When the two sides keep pulling and tugging, people start to eventually fall off, right? People start to fall by the wayside, right? So this is why they sow seeds of discord and division. They don't want you to harness your power. They want all of us to be like that man that was kicked out of the mall, sitting there crying, head down, feeling downtrodden and worthless, not standing up for himself, not having any dignity to just rise above. Put your emotions to the side and rise above, rise to the occasion, right? He should have walked out of there with his head held high. Thank you, Oyela. Thank you, beloved, for your kind words. Peace to you as well. And thank you for your contribution. Peace, love, and blessings. But instead, he left her crying like a little child who someone snatched his candy from him. I'm sorry, that makes no sense. So the thing is this. There's nothing wrong with being afraid, because some of our people are afraid. You have to have fear in life. If you don't, thank you, Malcolm, for the super sticker and your contribution. Peace, love, and blessings to you, beloved. Here's the thing. You have to have fear in life. There are some things you should be afraid of. You should be afraid to get in a cage with a hungry lion, right? That could cost you your life. You should be afraid to run into a burning building that's engulfed in flames, right? There are certain things that you should be afraid of. Excuse me, but there's some things you absolutely have to rise above your fear. You see, here's the thing. It's not always bad to be afraid. What the main problem with fear is when you allow your fear to consume you. When you allow the fear to precede you, right? Thank you, Tanya, beloved, for your contribution. Peace, love, and blessings to you. When you allow the fear to stop you from doing something that needs to be done, you can be fearful, but be in control of your fear, right? Fear should never stop you from doing what needs to be done. And that's just that. And when you realize that, that is when you can have power and harness your power and move into your higher self and your higher level and stage of consciousness. We cannot just sit here and watch all of these nefarious things being done to our people and keep bowing our heads, holding our heads down in shame, crying, weeping, and wailing, and hoping that white Jesus is going to come and save us, because no one is going to save us but us. That's what you have to realize. The Most High has given us the tools that we need to win in the battle. This battle will not be fought with guns, knives, bombs, and any of those things. This battle will be fought through spiritual powers, through the mind, through intellect and knowledge, wisdom. So the Bible even tells you, my children perish from lack of knowledge. This is true. Those who don't do the research, those who aren't willing to put in the work, those who are not receptive to truth that is being given and spoken to them, those are the people that are going to perish, sadly, but true. You see, they are the sheeple. Now, when you are a lion, right? You are brave and fearless. When you are a sheeple, you are afraid and fearful. So you need to ask yourself, do you want to be a lion in this story? Or do you want to be a sheep? Because clearly that man at the mall, Tawan, right? Wasn't that his name? Calls himself Motor City Fats. Wasn't he acting like a little old lamb? I'm sorry, all meek and teary-eyed and crying so hard. It was pathetic. I could not have any empathy for him. You see, the reason I couldn't have any empathy for him is because not only through his tears, but through his words and actions, he showed me what side that he was on. He showed us that when he said he never in a million years expected this to happen to him. When he said that he was there just trying to get him a plate of Chinese food. I'm sorry, didn't the Asians just beat a black woman and pistol whip her? You spoke absolute truths and power. Thank you, Mr. Mystical. Thank you for your kind words and your contribution, beloved. Peace, love, and blessings to you. But also, haven't they been saying that we're attacking them and all of these things? So he's trying to buy Asian food. He's in a mall that's owned by white folks, and he's crying and upset and hurt because they're telling him to leave. And the most important thing that he said was he never in a million years thought this would happen to him. But he admitted that he's seen it happen to other black people on the news. So what made him think he was different from the other black people? I'm glad you asked. Because he is one who panders, and he's one who clearly is a coon and works at the sole behest of them. So he thought by doing so, they would never forsake him and turn their backs on him. He didn't realize that he was just another Negro to them. He gave up his power. And once you give up your power, the oppressors, the adversaries, they're in complete control of you. They can then dictate what you say, what you do, and even what you think. That's why the lamestream media is the biggest propagandist machine. You see, because they tell you when to get upset. I want you to pay attention to the black people who have clearly given up their power and just let it all go down the drain. The ones who sat there and they got all mad when they brought out that documentary, right, about R. Kelly, surviving R. Kelly. Now, I want you to pay attention how the adversaries told them when to get upset. You know, for 20 years, we've known that R. Kelly was a pedophile. We saw that video years ago. Some of you saw that video. We heard all the rumors and whispers. We knew all of these things. But still, all of these same black people, they were going out there dancing to R. Kelly's music, purchasing all of his records. They were going to his concerts. They weren't mad. Now, I'm not saying they shouldn't have been mad, but I'm making a point. And the point is this. They didn't get mad about what R. Kelly was doing until the white folk told them to. They didn't get mad until the lamestream media told them to get mad. Now, if you can't realize that that is nothing more than a bunch of controlled, mind-controlled, brainwashed Negroes. I'm sorry, say what now? So they tell us when to be mad and when to be glad and when to be happy and when to be afraid. Is that how this goes? Yes, it absolutely is. You saw how that man was crying. You saw how he was crying. He got his nigga wake-up call real quick. Sadly, many of our people are going to do the same because they allow these people to dictate the narrative of their lives rather than harnessing their power and thinking and doing for themselves. They sit back and wait until the media tells them, well, wait a minute, now you should be afraid. There's a pandemic. We should all be scared. Pay attention to all the black people that got so frightened. They ran out to the stores, bought up all the toilet paper, had cartons and cartons of different, buggies of food, right? Clearly in a panic, so afraid. Because they told them to be afraid and they fell for it. Only I determine when I'm going to be afraid. Only I determine when I'm going to be angry about something. I don't need the news media to come and tell me it's time to be afraid. Okay, now's the time to start worrying. I don't need them to tell me that. But too many of our people have given up their power. And until they get it back, until they realize that we can only succeed as a people, as a nation, and gain our rightful place on this earth when we collectively unify, stand together, and harness our power and use it to the betterment of our people and our existence. Otherwise, the sheeple, they'll be gone. And there'll only be a few of us left that are powerful. We'll be the ones who make it through these tumultuous times. Those who are powerless, they're going to fall by the wayside. And as I've said numerous of times, the sheeple will eventually be led to the slaughter. And that's just the sad truth. And when they wake up and realize right before they get their heads chopped off that we were right in the first place, it's going to be too late. They've already gone so far down the rabbit hole, they won't be able to turn around and come back up. And that's just facts. Thank you, Dan, for your super sticker and your contribution, beloved. Peace, love, and blessings to you. So this is why I had to say this, because that video really concerned me. It really bothered me. And even more so because he had his young son with him. Like, what kind of example is he setting? And then pay attention. At the end, when he was in his car, that's when he started talking tough. Close my door. Close my door. Why are you trying to exert power now? You just sat there and cried like a big old baby. Clearly, no one has any respect for you at this point. You think those white cops respected him after seeing him behave like that? No, they didn't. And the fact that our people so willingly, some of us, so willingly give up, surrender our power over to the hands of our very enemies is beyond me. And that is also why they continue to try and do the things they do. If all of us stood up tomorrow and exerted our power and took our rightful place and demanded what we wanted, what do you think they would do? What do you think they would do? I want you all to go look at a video when I'm done with this live. Actually, when I'm done with the Daily Vitamin, I want you all to go look at a video. Do you remember when Ahmaud Arbery was killed down there in Brunswick, Georgia? And the new Black Panther Party went down there with those guns, right? Assault weapons and all of that. And the police pulled up on the scene and they stayed at the end of the block. They didn't approach them. They didn't want to, because they didn't know if they were going to get the smoke or not. They didn't approach them. You know why? Because that was a show of power. That's what that was. Those black men going down there with guns, blazing in broad daylight, standing there in defense of a black man who had been slain and the rest of the black people in that town. That was a show of power. And the police didn't want any of that. Now, what I'm saying is this. Not that you have to go get guns blazing, but that was a show of power. That's an example. What I'm saying is it would be a show of power if black people woke up, started engaging in our spiritual practices as the ancestors did, and knowing who we were and what we are, right? Gods. All gods born of the Most High. And if in that very moment that we did all of this, we also said, we're not going to put up with your mess anymore. We're not going to be around you. We want to separate from you. We're not spending any money with you on your name brand expensive clothes. We're not celebrating your nefarious holidays. All right? We're not spending a dime on it. If we did that collectively and meant it and kept our dollars in our own communities and stood together and defended our own people, whether they were right or wrong against the enemy, because the enemy defends their people, whether they're right or wrong against us. Why do you think the police never get any accountability for killing unarmed black people? Because they're on code. The judges, the prosecutors, the GBI, the FBI, all of them, they've already said these people, they're not going to be held accountable when it comes to black folks. That's what it looks like they've all said, right? They're on code. So the sooner we get on code, the better. And only then will they see a true show of power. Don't be afraid of your power. Don't give up your power. Harness it. Ask yourself, starting right now today, do you want to be powerful or do you want to be powerless? And when you ask yourself that, you get the answer. Ask yourself, is that what's going to get you freedom and liberation? Or is that going to get you laid on the wayside? Powerful or powerless? The choice is up to you. That's all I want to say. So with that all being said, I'm going to conclude this broadcast. I want to thank you all for tuning in once again to not Authentic Black Goddess, to Queen Ahmadiyyah TV presents More Than Meets the Third Eye. I hope to see you all right black in the chat at 6 p.m. in the next couple of minutes for your daily vitamin on Authentic Black Goddess TV and also on the Queen Ahmadiyyah TV show. Thank you all for tuning in. Make sure you like and share this video. Subscribe to the channel if you have not done so. And until next time, Royal Family, I will talk to you all again soon. Peace.